Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Doris.
So, can I introduce you to people and tell people a little bit about you?
Yes, you can.
Okay, Vanessa, how old are you?
86 years old.
Wow. So, are you home and retired?
Nope, but to keep on going.
Yeah. What are you doing about keeping going? What are some of the things you do to keep on going?
Well, about the Head Start.
Head Start, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that with
Yeah.
kids?
Yep.
You hate it?
Yep, Monday.
No, you hate it?
Every other Monday. And then I do my puzzles and do my cross stitch.
Do you do Meals on Wheels?
Yep, Meals on Wheels sometimes, and then we go and pick up the meals for the from the Sanford, that like we did do it, and then
Yep.
and go around the different homes.
I also understand that you pick up clothing donation.
Yep.
And help set it up here so that people can come in who can't afford clothes and stuff to come and get some clothing so that they're warm in the winter and dressed in the summer.
Yep.
Yeah, well, hey, that's pretty good. That's more than some people do in their 20s, I'd say. Yeah. Did you ever live at our state institution, Pineland?
Yes.
That's closed now.
Yep.
What happened while you were living at Pineland that made you afraid of going to the doctors or getting your health taken care of?
Well, I don't know, all the things that happened there.
So you told me something about your teeth and
Yeah.
having stitches and when you get nervous. So can you tell me a little bit about the teeth?
Well, they throw teeth and they'd take it out with pliers. No Overcade or anything.
And when you got stitches, did they put Novocaine on your stitches?
No, they didn't. They did give me nothing.
So that hurt.
Yes.
Made you scared. And when you got all worked up and nervous, what did they do?
They give you the needles.
Yeah, and I take it that you don't like needles. You're afraid of needles.
Yeah, and when I got out there, I went to Portland and I had to check my teeth, and I went up there and I just like this, I shake it, and they asked me, "What'd you shake for?" I said, "They did going to take my teeth out with pliers." They did that. I said, "They sure did," and one of the patient took over the dentist's shirt and ripped it right down in front of him.
So your experience at Pineland with the
Yes.
doctors of your teeth being pulled,
Yeah.
of having stitches without having anything to help the pain,
Yeah.
when you got really, really worried and uptight and anxious, they used to give you needles, which you didn't
Yeah.
want to calm you down.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say that made you scared of doctors and needles?
Yes.
So then you came and lived with us, and you were pretty healthy for quite a few years. Then you started, if I remember correctly, the first thing, you started having a lot of problems with your hands and your feet. Can you tell me what was happening with your hands and feet?
I had my hands all cracked and sore, and I had bent toenails, and
So you had eczema on your hand,
yeah.
and you also had some eczema and psoriasis on your hands and feet, and you had some fungal stuff going on with your toenails, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you needed to go see a podiatrist, and you needed to go see a skin specialist.
Yep.
My memory serves me that you really didn't want to do that. You were kind of scared to do that.
Yeah.
Was it because you were afraid that the same thing was going to happen
Yes.
when you were at Pineland? I know you went. Your hands look good now.
Yep.
So what made you decide to go?
The staff did go with me, and if I need the help.
And did the staff help you shop for doctors?
Yeah, she did help me for the doctors out, and I said, before I went, and I asked Dot if she could go with me, and she did.
So what did the doctor do that made you feel more comfortable this time?
Talk to you. And
they talked to you.
Yep.
That's a big deal, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Answered your questions?
Yep.
Told you what they were going to do before they did it?
Yep.
That's pretty important, huh?
Yeah.
So even if they're going to do something that's a little uncomfortable, at least you know it's coming and they're not surprising you.
Yeah.
And they're doing it with you, not to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your feet and hand got better because you started being able to go to the doctor more comfortably, right?
Yeah.
What happened with your eyes? You got what in your eyes?
Cataracts.
Cataracts. And that made it really hard to see, right?
Yeah.
And if I remember right, you told me you like to cross-stitch and do puzzles. Were
Yeah.
you able to do your cross-stitch and puzzles?
Nope.
And you were scared to go to the doctors again, right?
Yeah.
Did staff help you again?
Yeah, she was there and you went there.
Yeah, you got to pick your doctor. Did you get to go visit where you were going to have the surgery before you went down?
Yes, I met the nice doctor.
Yeah, you met the doctor.
Yeah.
You got to talk to him. He talked to you.
Yeah.
Spent time with you. So you were comfortable with your doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. And the day of the surgery, I came with you. Were the doctors and nurses really good and talked to you, made you real comfortable?
Yeah.
Did the doctor do what he said he was going to do?
Yeah.
And what happened to your eyes now?
Now they got me the new glasses and I can see better.
Yeah, you can see. Huh. So are you doing puzzles?
Yep.
And cross-stitch?
I'm going to do that.
You're working
Not
on
right now. I can't get up on my card table looking up to the window. So I don't know about that yet.
So now you're still 86, but you can see, you can use your hands,
Yeah.
and your other health is great. Is life good?
Except the stairs.
Except the stairs. Well, you know, at 86, yeah. But is life pretty good at the moment?
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to tell people, you know, what they need to do if they're scared of going to the doctors? What do they need to do to get help so that they don't wait as long as you did? What should they do?
I talk to staff and let's see what the patient, like not the new guy, doctors, so like that do,
And you need to tell staff what you need.
yeah,
Okay, so somebody's got to listen to you,
yeah,
right? And if they listen to you, you talk to staff, shop for your doctors,
yeah,
then do you think most people would be successful?
yes,
Still a little scary, but
yeah.
doable.
Today we're going to be talking about your latest hospitalization that you had, that you and I have talked about in the past.
Right.
And how that hospitalization went for you with the providers that were providing care for you.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what's going on with you, and why you were hospitalized.
Okay. Well, my name's Avery. I'm 46, and I actually have multiple disabilities, and some of them I was born with, and some of them I developed later in life. I was born with cerebral palsy, and my type of CP is spastic CP. If I get overly tired or overly stressed or overly excited, I develop muscle spasms. I was diagnosed with clinical depression in high school. I've developed allergies a couple years ago. So I'm allergic to dust, which kind of fed into me having asthma.
Avery, do you have a practitioner who takes care of each of these medical issues that you have?
I do. I see a GP. I see an osteopath. I see a counselor. A counselor for my mental health stuff. I see an allergist, and I also see an ENT. And four out of the 5 of them are in the same they're in the same medical group.
Okay.
My allergist is the only one where I went outside my medical group.
So with all of them being in the same medical group, how is the communication amongst them?
I think honestly where I think comes into play, for me is the allergy stuff, because I'll get asked questions that I would have thought they knew the answer to from reading the stuff.
Okay, you had a number of providers that were trying to take care of you in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that experience and the communication that occurred during that hospitalization.
Okay, I had just come home from a work conference, and I was having a hard time breathing while I was there. Then I got home, and a couple of days later, I just started. I woke up and I just started hyperventilating, and I think because I tend to be kind of a worrywart, and I'd been stressed out about other things anyway that weren't health related, and I just started hyperventilating a lot, and I just couldn't catch my breath, and after a couple minutes, I knew that I had to do something because I wasn't able to get myself under control. So I have one of these life alert buttons, and so I pressed that, and they came on the line, and they sent an ambulance, and they actually brought me. They asked me which hospital I wanted to go to, and I told them. Because I personally wanted to go to the hospital that I was more familiar with.
Okay.
The other hospital I didn't really have a connection to. It was a very long day. I got there about 8 a.m, and I was in the emergency room for a bit, about 12 hours. And in the middle, and they're doing tests and stuff. So, their diagnosis was that I had a blood clot, or a potential blood clot, which freaked me out because I didn't know. Because I went in for a completely different reason, and I was like, oh, okay. So that really freaked me out. So, they did the first scan, and I went back, and they said they had to do it again. So I went back for a second scan, and then they said they still didn't get a clear picture. So they got me a room about 8 o'clock, and we went up, and I don't know why, but they assumed that I was a paraplegic. And when I told them that I had CP, they were kind of surprised. And I was like, okay.
Avery, can we go back just a little bit?
Sure.
Back to the emergency room and your transfer to the unit. In all of that time, was there ever any mention of any of the practitioners down in the emergency room getting a hold of your PCP or your allergist?
No, not that I know of.
And once you got up onto the unit?
No, not as far as I know.
So who treated you for your depression while you were in the hospital?
Nobody.
Nobody.
No.
So were you taking your medications for your depression?
Yeah, I was taking my meds.
Were you asked about those meds and what they were for?
No.
Why they were prescribed?
No, not as far as I know.
Okay. So a little bit more about your allergies, which is what you think may have sent you to the hospital to begin with.
Right.
You had an allergist at the time.
Yes.
was there any discussion about your allergist being notified or anybody talking to your allergist to see if this issue that you were having might have been caused?
I don't think that that a contact was made. One other big thing that really it was actually really scary because they thought that I might have a blood clot. They had to put they had to give me a solution to make sure that that
Right.
I'd be okay if I did have one. So so they gave me a line, and I think in my left hand, and because my spasticity, it kept coming out, and they'd have to come back in and do the and do it again, and I got really used to hearing the sound of the alarm, because sometimes it would be like 20, 30 minutes before somebody would show up. So when I woke up Saturday, I don't know if it was Saturday morning or Sunday morning, I'm not sure, but the line had come out and there was blood all over my bed, and they were still trying to figure out if I had a blood clot or not, and so they ended up going through my neck to try to get a clearer shot, which that was really that really scared me. They came in on Sunday and said I didn't have a blood clot.
Okay.
And which
was good.
Which I was very happy. I was like, awesome. Can I get out of here now? But if your disability makes it harder to communicate, it's that much scarier because you feel like everything is out of your control, and I think that's what I wanted. Most. I wanted some control.
All right. So if you could tell the practitioners one thing about this visit that you would like to have seen them change, what would that have been?
I think that if the doctors in the emergency room had gotten in touch with my regular doctors and understood more about how my cerebral palsy affects me, I think it potentially could have saved me a lot of grief and a lot of time and stress in the hospital, and I think it would have saved them a lot of stress trying to figure out. I think it's possible that they might have been able to figure out earlier that it wasn't a blood clot issue, that it was a CP issue, and it would have saved us all a lot of time.
Hi, Louise. Thank you for coming today.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've lived in Bedford all my life.
Yeah. When did you move to Community Partners?
In '93.
Yeah. And where did you live before that?
With my mom and my stepfather.
Yeah.
And my two brothers.
Pretty full house then, huh?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 56.
56. How has life been growing up with going to the doctors?
Before it wasn't too bad. Because I had mom.
Yeah. Did she help you a lot?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about your family history.
My mom's had like 3 hernias.
Well, that's
And I had one back in 13.
2013.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that go for you?
Good. And last year I thought I had another hernia because I was having a lot of pain.
Yeah. So tell me about when you had your first hernia.
They just patched me up.
Yeah. Did you have surgery?
Yeah.
So then last year you felt that you had more hernia pain?
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
I thought I had come back. Then I had Susan and we went to see my doctor. And I told him, he said, no,
The doctor told you you didn't have a hernia?
no,
That you didn't have hernia pain?
Yes, they thought it was all in my head.
And how'd that make you feel?
Not very happy,
No.
because no one ever really listens to me.
So you're sitting there with a lot of pain and the doctor's not doing anything for you?
No.
No.
And I went to have like an ultrasound, and there was nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong, but you're still in pain.
Yes,
Yeah. So how did that make you feel that the doctor wasn't listening to your needs?
because I was feeling uncomfortable.
You were? So what would help you next time going to the doctor? What do you need from the doctors?
I wish they would ask me more questions.
So that would help you get your point across
Yes,
for you to be heard?
yes.
Yeah.
I just want to be heard.
I don't blame you. So your staff help you with the doctors?
Yeah.
Do the doctors talk to you or do they talk to your staff?
Both.
They both? Is that helpful for you?
Yeah.
So what would you like more from the doctors next time you go?
I wish they would be more understanding with people with disabilities.
To know that when you have pain, you don't know what it might be, but you need
Right.
help. Tell me how it went when you met with the doctor that day, when he wasn't listening to your needs.
I was telling him, and he was very rude.
What was he saying?
Oh, he said, "Oh, I fixed you. You should have another hernia." That's how he put his across.
Yeah. So not only was he not listening to your needs, the pain that you were in, he was rude and a little disrespectful with his
Yes.
words. And that probably didn't make you feel very good, did it?
No, it made me angry. Because sometimes people think I'm making it all up.
So what would you like different in the future?
I would like our doctors and professional health care to understand people with intellectual disabilities.
Yeah.
We're people too. I want to be treated with respect.
You definitely should be treated with respect from your doctors and everybody else.
Yes,
You should let your doctors know that.
I will.
Tell them what you need.
I want to be heard.
You want to be heard. I don't blame you. So next time you go to the doctor, what are you gonna ask of them?
I want them to ask me questions and to be more respectful.
And to be heard. You want to be heard?
Yes, I want to be heard.
Yep. Very good.